The moment had finally arrived, the rematch that every tennis fan had been waiting for. Alex Eala versus Maya Joint, Wimbledon 2026, the second round. It was supposed to be a dream showdown with Serena Williams. The tennis world was buzzing at the prospect of the 21-year-old Filipina sensation facing the 23-time Grand Slam champion. But Maya Joint had other plans. The Australian spoiled Williams' Grand Slam return, defeating her 6-3, 6-7, 6-3 on center court. And now, she stood across the net from Alex Eala, renewing a rivalry that began in the most heartbreaking way possible, the 2025 Eastbourne Open Final. A match where Eala came within a point of her first WTA title, holding 4 championship points, only to see Joint snatch victory away. 12 months later, the rematch was here, on the biggest stage in tennis, with redemption on the line. And Eala did not disappoint. For more coverage in tennis, subscribe and hit the notification bell. To understand why this match was so personal, you have to go back to June 2025, the Eastbourne Open, a WTA 250 grass court tournament, the final. Alex Eala was just 20 years old. She was playing the biggest match of her young career. A title was within her grasp, and she was dominating. She won the first set 6-4. She was in control. The title was hers for the taking. She held 4 championship points, 4 opportunities to make history, to become the first Filipina to win a WTA title, to prove that she belonged. But then, the unthinkable happened. Maya Joint, just 19 years old at the time, fought back. The Australian, who had been struggling to find her rhythm, found a way to stay in the match. She saved those championship points. She forced a tiebreak in the third set, and then, in a pulsating finale, she prevailed. The final score was 6-4, 1-6, 7-6, 12-10. Eala was left in tears. She had come so close, only to have victory snatched away at the last moment. It was a loss that haunted her, a loss that she carried with her ever since, a loss that she used as fuel. That loss hit me quite hard. I cried a lot, and I don't think I was able to watch those highlights for a couple of months, Eala later recalled. The defeat was a turning point in her career. It was a lesson in resilience, a lesson in the fine margins that separate winning from losing at the highest level. She had been 1 point away from a title, and she had seen it slip away. But instead of letting the defeat define her, she used it to grow. She used it as motivation. The match also marked a milestone. Despite the loss, Eala became the first Filipina to reach a WTA singles final, an historic achievement in its own right. The heartbreak was real, but it was also a sign of things to come. She had proven that she could compete at the highest level. She had proven that she belonged, and she had earned the right to seek redemption on a bigger stage. That stage was Wimbledon, the All-England club, the most prestigious tournament in tennis, and the rematch was here. I think I improved a lot in this past year, and I'm happy that I'm able to look back at that loss and I'm able to smile. Extra motivation to win for sure, Eala said before the match. A year had passed since that heartbreak in Eastbourne, and Alex Eala was not the same player she was then. She had evolved, she had improved, she had transformed into a legitimate contender on the WTA Tour. Her grass court season had been exceptional. She won the Birmingham Open title, her second WTA 125 crown, her first on grass. She reached the semifinals of the Berlin Open, where she stunned the tennis world by defeating world number 2 Elena Rybakina and world number 8 Elina Svitolina in the same tournament. She had proven that she could compete with and beat the best players in the world. Her ranking had soared. She had climbed to a career high of world number 29. She entered Wimbledon as the 29th seed, the first Filipino in the Open era to achieve that honor. She was no longer the promising junior who was just happy to be there. She was a genuine threat. She was playing with confidence, momentum, and a belief that she belonged on the biggest stages. Her first-round victory over Renata Zarazua was a statement of intent, a dominant 6-1, 6-2 win in just 78 minutes. She hit 22 winners and was particularly effective at the net. It was a performance that said, "I am here to win." The transformation was not just about technique, it was about mindset. Eala had spent the build-up sharpening her grass game alongside Wimbledon royalty, partnering 5-time champion Venus Williams in the doubles at Bad Homburg. The experience had been invaluable. She had learned from one of the best. She had gained confidence. She was ready for the challenge. The Eastbourne defeat was in the rearview mirror. She had learned from it, and now she was ready for the rematch. "I really had to dig deep, especially after that first set," Eala said after her victory. Maya came out on fire, she came out ready, and I was expecting a really good match. Maya's joint had also changed since that Eastbourne final. The 20-year-old Australian had faced her own challenges. A back injury had sidelined her for more than 6 weeks earlier in the season, causing her ranking to drop to number 87. She had even lost 11 WTA Tour-level matches in a row. But she had also proven that she could rise to the occasion. Her victory over Serena Williams in the first round of Wimbledon was a statement. A 6-3, 7-6, 6-3 win on center court against a tennis icon. Joint was not supposed to win that match. The crowd was firmly behind Williams. The pressure was immense, but Joint handled it with aplomb. She was steady from the baseline, consistent and determined. She saved a match point in the second set and showed incredible composure to close out the win. She snapped an 11-match losing streak and announced that she was a player to be reckoned with. The victory over Williams was not just a lucky win, it was a sign of Joint's potential and her ability to perform on the biggest stage. She had a powerful game, with a solid serve and consistent ground strokes. She had also proven that she could play on grass, having won the Eastbourne title last year. She was a dangerous opponent, and she was looking to continue her run. The head-to-head was 1-0 in favor of Joint. The Australian won their only previous meeting. She knew what it took to beat Eala. She knew how to handle the pressure. She had the confidence of someone who had just beaten one of the greatest players of all time. But Eala was not the same player she was a year ago. She was higher ranked, more experienced, and more determined. The rematch was a test for both players, a test of their growth, their resilience, and their ability to perform on the biggest stage in tennis. Joint, who had begun the match in the same exhilarating manner in which she had finished against Williams, seemed to have the match on her racket, striking 37 winners in all with her initially crisp ball striking. But the pressure was mounting, and the mistakes began to flow. The match began, and from the very first point it was clear that Joint was on a mission. She broke Eala in the opening game and raced to a 2-0 lead. She dictated play with her aggressive shot-making, finishing the first set with a commanding 13-4 edge in winners. The 6-3 first set was a harsh reminder of the Eastbourne defeat. Eala looked uncharacteristically sluggish, struggling to find her rhythm and piling up unforced errors. It seemed like history was about to repeat itself, but then the momentum shifted. Eala found her rhythm in the second set, earning her first break of the match in the third game to move ahead 2-1. She extended rallies, forcing Joint into mistakes and gradually taking control from the baseline. Joint's dip in consistency was evident as she sprayed 14 unforced errors in the second set. Eala tightened her grip on the set by breaking Joint for a second time in the seventh game and served out the set with composure, leveling the contest at 6-2. The third set was a masterclass. Eala carried her momentum into the deciding set, putting Joint under immediate pressure. The Australian's opening service game turned into a grueling 13-minute battle, with Eala converting her sixth breakpoint of the game to seize an early advantage. Another marathon service game of Joint transpired in the third game as Eala again wore down the Australian from the baseline before capitalizing on her fourth breakpoint opportunity to stretch the lead to 3-0. She never looked back, blanking Joint for the remainder of the set to complete the comeback and advance to the third round of a Grand Slam singles tournament for the first time in her career. The final score was 3-6, 6-2, 6-0. Eala had reeled off the final 9 games to prevail in 3 minutes under 2 hours. She had done it. She had gotten her revenge. The win was her first victory at Wimbledon and her first Grand Slam third-round appearance. The emotional moment was captured by the cameras. Eala raised her arms in triumph. The Filipino fans who had packed the stands erupted in celebration. The tennis world was watching, and they were impressed. Eala had silenced the doubters and proven that she belonged. Let us zoom out. Alex Eala's revenge victory over Maya Joint was more than just a tennis match. It was a moment of redemption, a testament to the power of perseverance and dedication. It was the beginning of a new era for Filipino athletes. Eala has already achieved more than any Filipino player before her. She is the first to be seeded at Wimbledon. She is the first to break into the top 30. She has beaten the best players in the world. But the story is far from over. Eala's victory sets up a mouth-watering third-round clash with defending champion Iga Świątek. The Polish star, who has won 5 Grand Slam titles, will be a formidable opponent. Eala has beaten Świątek before at the 2025 Miami Open. She knows she can do it again. The match will be a test of her growth and her ability to compete on the biggest stage. A win would see her advance to the round of 16, the farthest any Filipino has advanced at Wimbledon. The road ahead is challenging. Wimbledon is the biggest stage in tennis. The competition is fierce. The pressure is immense. But Alex Eala has never shied away from a challenge. She has faced adversity and overcome it. She has proven that she belongs on the biggest stages. The tennis world is watching, the Philippines is praying, and Alex Eala is ready for the next challenge. Her revenge victory is just the latest chapter in her incredible journey. She is not just a tennis player, she is a symbol of hope. She is a testament to the power of perseverance and dedication. Her journey from a young girl in Manila to a Wimbledon sensation has inspired millions. The victory was not just a personal achievement, it was a moment of national pride. The Philippines had never had a player who could compete at this level. Eala had broken barriers and created new possibilities for young Filipinos. She had shown the world that greatness can come from anywhere. For more coverage in tennis, subscribe and hit the notification bell.